Hey, long time no see. Welcome to Scar Bearers, episode 143. I love you. This is Chris DT Gordon doing awful ASL, but the feeling is there, and that's what matters. I'm so thankful that you're here with me today. We have a great conversation with a repeat guest. I love repeat guests because they're able to share their ongoing journeys. And it's fun to see where they have been since the last time we talked to them. So you know what? Let's get right to it. Dan E. Williams, brother from another mother. How's it going, my friend?
Absolutely fantastic. How are you? And thank you so much for having me on.
Oh, my pleasure, man. My pleasure. I'm so excited to have you back on because on the socials, I've seen you just rocket your business, owner's pride. But before that, I wanted you to just review a little bit about what brought you to us first time, where you were, and then I would love to hear the specifics of what's going on with you now.
Yeah, I think, well, originally we kind of synced up because we are fraternity brothers from another mother, if you will, or
Yeah.
at least another chapter. And that's how we kind of connected. And we noticed that you were doing a podcast with a crazy positive message. And I have so love following all of the stuff that you're doing, going around and like spreading this positive message and working with kids. It's super cool. So I think kind of when I came on to your show, we were discussing the fact that the struggles that I went through with getting sober.
Yep.
And funny enough, June 3rd was 25 years since I had quit drinking, which is
Congratulations.
yeah, pretty big milestone. Never really saw that coming. Didn't think it was possible almost 25 years ago, if you will.
Yep.
Um, and kind of just wanted to stick with that positive message about telling people if you do have a problem, you can harness some control over that, and you just really have to reach out and try to do it. Unfortunately, most people probably have to hit their rock bottom, whatever their personal bottom is, before they can make the turn and start to come back up. But on your podcast, it was meant to be a message of hope and that you can turn everything around and you don't have to be a homeless mess.
Yeah, like you said, that rock bottom is where some people have to hit, but the thing about rock bottom is that that's where the ground is strongest and you can get the greatest push to go back upward.
Yeah.
So,
Again, it's unfortunate that people have to get to that point, but
yeah.
until you get to that point, you just can't turn it around. Once it gets a hold of you, you're just kind of stuck in that cycle for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true, unfortunately. But you have turned it around. And like I said before, you have really rocketed to, and which is, I guess, not the right term, motored, I guess I should say, motored up to new heights. So tell us a little bit about that. How are things going with Owner's Pride?
We're going from year 3 to year 4 in our company. I've hit the point where my ownership stake in the company has fully vested, and that is super duper cool. So that
Nice.
brings a big smile on my face.
Yeah.
Um, we're really kind of getting to that point. We launched this company right before COVID shut the world down. As a matter of fact, 3 weeks prior. And I go on a lot of these podcasts and I talk about how resilient, how surprisingly resilient the world of auto detailing is. It was in 2008 when the housing market crashed. I ended up buying a house here in San Diego, detailing cars, and all of my detailers that we work with did probably some of the best financial years of their life came through COVID. They've all come out of it really strong, and it's just incredible. Who would have thought somebody who's washing cars could have a really viable, great business? But man, it did. We marched right through. We've had exponential growth ever since the inception. Of course, there's been some stumbling blocks and some hurdles and lessons learned, and
Yep.
shifting in, a couple of the ownership partners. But we're really like in that past year number 3, going into year number 4, and hit the mark where you really start to, everybody gets in their own lane and works on their own things, what they're best at. And I get to do the podcast and a lot of our customer retention stuff and training people, which is all helping people and my favorite part of what I get to do.
That's great. Now, how many people do you have, under you right now?
So our company is pretty lean and small. I'd say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 10 people probably
Okay.
that are owners pride. Um, and we have about currently 350 authorized installers in the US that are selling our products.
Wow. And so where are some places you might find owner's pride products? Like where in, like, for example, I live in Minnesota. Where in Minnesota are you aware of that I could get some products?
So we haven't gone to moved into a full retail chain. Here's kind of
Okay.
something kind of funny. One of the things when we built this company, we wanted to make very efficient products, and we came at it from we were all had detailing businesses. So we looked at it very from the view of the detailer. We made our products very dilutable. Most products that you're going to go to the store and buy off of the shelf, they're going to be really in a ready to use and very diluted down, right? Because if you put your products on, say, a Walmart shelf or an AutoZone shelf, the whole idea is that you're turning product over, you have people coming back to buy over and over.
Yeah.
If you buy a bottle of our eco wash, you is a home using it at your house, you might be giving that to your kids grandkids. It's dilutable at 512 to 1. So
Okay.
we haven't really moved into those channels
Okay.
yet of retail. What we do, however, we have an eBay store that we sell product on. We also have ownerspride.com. And if you use code EcoWashTheWorld at checkout, you get 10% off of your order from
There we
ownerspride.com.
go.
And then,
Eco wash the world.
yes.
Nice.
And
We'll
then
put that in the show notes.
most of our authorized installers also retail products. So we give them enough margin and make it so they can sell. And they're kind of our sales force, boots on the ground, because they're the ones doing the detailing for people, putting the ceramic coatings on and maintaining the cars. So they have a chance to participate. And we feel that we can foster a better relationship with our network of installers and help them grow their business by going directly through them instead of, through the huge chains.
Yeah. Yeah. Take out the middleman.
Yep.
Yeah. No, that sounds great. And thanks for clarifying, because I don't come from this background. So, when you said dilutable, I was thinking, okay, back it up a little bit. It took my mind a little bit, this transition to that term of thinking, but no, I appreciate you explaining that. So as you're going through this growth from year 3 to year 4, how have the lessons that you've learned through your sobriety really helped you in this change? Because people think, oh, year 3 to year 4, you just changed the calendar over, but there has to be more than just that, correct?
Well, I think a big part of it is just the persistence, and the tenacity, right? Like if you tell me I can't do something, or if I have somebody that thinks that I can't do it, if they think that I can't get sober, or that I can't start my own business, or I can't do this, that, or the other, that is just fuel for me to prove you wrong. And so really just taking that drive and never stopping, of course you're going to run into some roadblocks, there's going to be some stumbles along the way, there's going to be some bad PR, maybe something's going to go sideways, but as long as you just keep focused and moving forward, I really think that is the recipe that is driving our success. And to that point, as we launched the company early on, this is where some of the stumbling blocks happened, coming into a very crowded space. But now we're at that point where we have held our head up and we have kept marching forward, and we're hitting this stride where people that did not think of us as a serious game player in the game are now coming to us, and like the big stores are starting to come to us that are like, it's really cool. I literally had this conversation this morning with Damon, the main founder of the company, just telling him that we're really hitting that point where they're piling back on, and we really need to start running some campaigns directly to everybody who was with us and left to invite them back, because that door is open.
Yeah, that's something that people especially when they start in an entrepreneurial journey, they see a no as a shut door, like a wall. But most no's are really not yets. You can add to that because maybe you're not right for them at that time, or maybe they're not right for you at that time. And so, just because someone doesn't give you a response that you want at that time doesn't mean it's not going to come back. And so I love hearing that message, because that is so foundational to an entrepreneurial mindset that, hey, you're going to hit something, you're going to get no's, but that doesn't mean they are in stone. They're maybe written on cardboard, but it's not forever.
I
So,
think as being a business owner, and this is kind of a lesson that I took from my CEO at my last company I was at. You could ask him anything. You could say, "Can I have one of those crackers out of your pack of crackers?" And he would say no. Like, he literally would say no to anything. But he would do that to take control of the situation and ruminate on it a little bit before giving an answer. And I really think that psychologically you have an advantage of keeping control of a situation. Even if somebody brings you any idea, and this is in business, maybe not in everything life, but if you do say no, so you can think about it and avoid having knee-jerk reactions. Because one of the things that I've seen, where people make a lot of mistakes in business, is knee-jerk reactions without thinking things through properly. And once you make that action, the public all sees it, and then you might have to recover from not thinking something out.
I really appreciate you saying that, Dan, because when I started on my own speaking journey, I would make a rookie mistake and compare my chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. I would see them doing all these different things, not thinking, well, they had to get to that point by taking a certain amount of steps. I can't skip ahead. It's not like Princess Bride. You can't skip to the end. You have to go through the steps. And so I learned that, okay, maybe I don't need a merch store right now. Maybe I don't need to do all these different things I see other more seasoned speakers doing, because I just haven't put in the time and I haven't mastered my one thing yet. Once you get that one thing down, then you can start building up on it and crafting that into a stronger foundation. And going back to your former boss saying no, I think that's another huge lesson, because as a beginning entrepreneur, you see all the shiny things, like, oh yeah, that looks awesome, I want to do that. Ooh, I need to learn that. But turning a no, convincing yourself a no is a yes, instead of just saying yes automatically, is a huge skill and a huge lesson in discipline.
Old bull, young bull.
Yeah. So that's I really appreciate you bringing that up. And so, looking ahead into the next 6 month to year, what's new or what's coming up for Owner's Pride?
Well, we're launching a program for our select installers, and that's our higher tiered customers that have a larger spend. And we're really implementing a 9-year compliant warranted program with a self-healing ceramic coating that only they will have access to, and giving some more perks to those people. What I have expressed to my partners that I would like to focus my lane on is customer retention and training and coaching and doing the podcast that I do, because I just love to do a podcast. It's so fun. You see these people that are getting out there as guests now. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Crazy.
So, going back to, how does someone become a customer? I know it's just, it may seem just as easy as, hey, I want to buy this, but it seems like you work with a very specialized group of people.
We do. So we do cater absolutely to DIY people. And for those people, we like to say we have professional products without the professional problems. Of course, as I expressed earlier, we made them a little bit too focused on the professional detailer. So they're very concentrated. But that's a great value for you as a consumer, you know, like Brill Cream, a little dabble do you.
Yeah.
The What was the question? I just ran around in circles. I made my
Well,
Brill
you
Cream
know,
commercial
how
because
does
we're
someone, you know, I said, how does someone, you know, get in touch with
I'm
Owner's
back.
Pride to try to, you know, become a customer?
I'm back. Okay.
All right.
So if you want to be, if you have a professional detailing business, that line of customers, you can go to ownerspride.com and click on become an installer and enter the information. We have a salesperson named Jimmy who would give you a call and, you know, kind of tell you all about the stuff. And we do a vetting with everybody who does join our network. So a few things in this space. You don't want to stack people too close together. You want to give them enough room to run their business and have a fair shot of, you know, getting customers. We make sure that they have, you know, insurance and a business license. They're a real business. We look at their social media. We wouldn't want somebody who's got swastikas and stuff, you know, misrepresenting our company. Because when we
Yep.
put our, you know, go into their store and they start hanging our logos all over, we just want to make sure that we're associating with the right people, doing the right thing.
Yeah,
Um,
you want to make sure that you're not going to be beat up by Indiana Jones, you know, just because your sign is next to something else.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, don't want that. So
it's a
I'm sorry,
crazy
go
world.
ahead.
Yeah. So, and those people we do, you know, vetting. So we research their business, make sure their message is aligned with ours. We do phone interview. Then we bring them on. We have a very strong onboarding process that I do every Wednesday with new people, go over all of our products, tips and tricks, how to use them, cover the compliant warranties. Um, the one thing that our company has that really makes us stand out from everybody in our industry is a truly compliant warranty program that has an aggregate tied to it, proper insurance backing it, where the detailer would be paid if they have to do any repair work. A consumer can call a 1-800 number or go to our website anywhere in the United States and have their claim adjudicated. It's just a different way of setting up your business to do it the right way for the long haul.
No, that's fantastic. And, you know, again, it takes a long time to get to that point where you can offer so much quality and value to your customers. But at the same time, it must feel really good to be able to offer that quality of care to your customers. And
It
so, you
really
know, go ahead.
it really does. And that's the, you know, I felt that we had that right out of the chute. But of course, again, you launch into a space that's very crowded with competition. And the best thing you can do is just try to do business proper, try to take care of the people you're working with, offer, you know, so many companies, and this is probably companies across the board. They're only worried about taking money from people. Where I derive pleasure in my satisfaction of doing this, yeah, getting paid is awesome. And as a matter of fact, without that, you couldn't do it. But
Yeah.
being able to come in and help somebody, when I started my detailing business back in 2004, and I had it for 12 and a half years, there was no social media, there was no Facebook, you know, you were still selling ads in telephone books. But if you can come in and help people learn how to run a business and become an actual business person, because it's very easy to get into detailing. A lot of people pile in and they focus all of their energy on polishing that car. And in reality, if you want to be an entrepreneur and run a business, you have to be able to step away from the polisher, have other people doing that work for you to some degree, and focus your attention on the analytics of the business so you can measure how you're doing and getting the people to come in and running a business.
Mhm.
And that's where
Yeah.
we really hold their hands. We don't just like try to jam some products down people's neck and then ignore them. And so many people come to us from other companies where if they're not a huge whale of a customer, they don't get calls from their reps. They don't get, you know, contacted. And I just think that we have figured a better way to do it. And I think that over time, that's just going to pay in spades.
You know, it is what you put into your business that, really determines what you get out of it. And, the love and commitment that you just shared to the craft of detailing, I can tell even without seeing your business, like a physical building, that you definitely serve your customers well, Dan. And it's refreshing to see someone who has so much love for the process, because as you said, we all need to make money. We all need to eat food and live indoors, but it's the process that really sets people apart. The product will come, at some point, but it's the process that really matters. And so I really appreciate you, spending some time and, really fleshing that out for us. What's a process that maybe you have struggled with in the past that you really find pleasure in doing now, in the business, or maybe personally?
Well, as far as the business goes, my passion again is really helping these people and coaching and mentoring them. And I've lessons learned, right? So we were offering coaching to these people, and I thought, man, if I can come in and sit down with you and give you advice on how to, set your business up and run it, how to utilize a CRM and a sales process and an email nurture campaign and grow your business the right way. So we were doing this for free, basically. And I would give people an hour. I had multiple people who would come in and they'd sit down, and I'm giving them great information. And then because it was free, they would not do any of the work. And I would say, look, you could go talk to Mark Cuban, you could go sit down with Tony Robbins, but unless you implement what we talk about, nothing is going to change. And you can't come back to me in 6 months and say, hey, none of that worked. Can we get, or I see him going somewhere else and paying somebody for coaching who's given him, essentially close to the same information. So what did we do to fix that? I really took a look inside at what we were offering, and I thought, okay, maybe we're not offering a structured, regimented enough offering to truly monetize this and make it grow. So what I did is I just recently got certified through Mike Michalowicz, Fix This Next program.
Yep.
As a basis of really structured, and it's incredible. Like, he's a great author. He's written The Pumpkin Plan, Profit First, Fix This Next, a whole bunch of books. I've had him as a guest on the podcast.
That's fantastic.
I'll tell you what, with the podcast guest side of the world, you can get pretty much anybody to get on your podcast. All you have to do is ask them and kind of be persistent. If you just ask, that's I think the thing that most people don't realize. You can get any famous people, it doesn't matter. But so now we've got this, and we're gonna I'm building out a program that makes a little more structure to it, and we're gonna monetize it. And I'm really hoping that by doing that, not only is it not wasting our time, but it will really help ignite these guys and help them realize their true potential and start to grow their business.
Well, that's, I appreciate you sharing that. And that's great how you're able to take a lesson that you learned and it didn't seem like it was a very painful lesson, but it definitely didn't originally have the outcome you wanted, and you turned it around. And I also like how you said you went out and you learned from Mike Michalowicz, and you implied you use that knowledge to your benefit. Some people would think, well, if you're an entrepreneur, you already know what you need to know. Like, know everything. And
well, the day you start thinking you know everything is the day you're cooked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to be humble enough to realize you know nothing. You are Jon Snow. And once you realize that, then the journey really begins. And then that's where you start really making progress.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, brother, I so much appreciate having you on again. I always like touching base with you to see how things are going. Again, where can people find you? And what was that code, that 10% code again?
Okay. Our website is ownerspride.com. Soon to be launched, danwilliams.com. I noticed all of the big podcasters have their own website with their name. So I bought the domain, and I got a story brand guy building me a website right now.
Nice.
Also, on YouTube, Owner's Pride Podcast is the podcast channel, and that's also available everywhere audio wise. So if you don't want to watch, but some of these ones that we have the bigger guests, I think that they are worth it to watch. Also, I'm kind of doing a couple of other projects for the podcast page. I do a ton of short videos. I've really found those for anybody out there who's has a small business or is trying to grow something. That is such an easy way to get in and get yourself in front of people, and they're just super, super easy to make. Yeah, and that's basically that's how you
And
do it.
what about
That's
that code, that promo code you shared earlier?
Eco Wash the World.
Eco Wash the World. What do people get for that?
10% off, and a warm feeling.
All right, nice. Everyone loves a warm feeling. All right. Okay, and you know, I'm a gratitude guy, Dan, you know that. So, and you shared a number of gratitudes before, as we're talking, not only in our first conversation, but here now. But what is something, I'm going to switch it up a bit. Looking into the future, maybe 5 years in the future, what is something that you will find yourself being grateful for?
It's an interesting question, and I'm going to kind of go a little bit off the rails, not to sound like a politician here, and
Right.
maybe I'll be able to hit it. Maybe you'll edit some of this out. I don't know. But something that I've come to realize over the past month, one of my best friends, probably the best friend that I have, passed away very suddenly, like about 4 weeks ago.
I'm sorry,
And
man.
yeah, he was my age. He was a guy that I've worked with for years. We literally talked on the phone 1 to 3 times every day for the past, like, say, 7 years, 6 years. Angel called him my work husband, but he just I guess he just had a massive heart attack and fell over. It was his 54th birthday.
Oof.
So with that, what comes out of that, you really don't know. It's that thing where, you know, if you got something that you want to say to somebody, you should say it to somebody. Make sure that they know where you're coming from, because we were working on a project that we were going to do on the side called Dan and Mac React, where we were going to like play detailer videos and like have the two heads and like talk about the videos. And we had just started to record all these things, and then he up and died on me. So tell the people, if you care about them, tell them that you care about them, and don't take everything for granted, because your time could come at any time.
Yeah. That mortality motivation is a good tool to use. I know many people, they shudder at the term mortality, but we can't escape it. So you might as well use it to your advantage. And again, while I'm so sorry for your loss, brother, I am happy you're able to flip the script a little bit and see it from that point of view.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a couple of things that I think will be really fitting for this. And again, you know, maybe I don't know if you have to edit some of this out, but some of the things that I've been working on with myself, as I've noticed personality flaws that I have. And I think this is very human, and I think a lot of people will relate to this, but I've been kind of like studying the Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, and you really have no control over anything that's happening in the world. The only thing that you can control is how you react to it.
Mm-hmm.
Number one. And that's really helping me be more calm and rational in my everyday life. And then second, there's another half to this.
Be patient.
I'm just making it an editing mess. Oh, and
No
here
worries.
it is. The second part is, and this is something that if I had a kid, which I don't have a kid, but if I had a kid and I were to try to give them some life advice,
Mm-hmm.
and I think, again, this is human nature. Your brain wants to make everything into a story. And I've done this my whole life. So if you have pieces of the puzzle that you don't have, you automatically just start making things up so your brain can make a whole story loop from it. Mm-hmm. And doing that, it can cause you anxiety and all kinds of just, like, you know, wasted energy. So that you could put it in the scenario where you have a customer and you call them and you're trying to close a sale, but they don't call you back. And then maybe you start thinking, oh, well, this person's mad at me. What did I do wrong? Or, I mean, you can put this in literally any situation in your life. But when you'll start thinking, oh, I did this or this or this, making something up, which causes you anxiety. Like, so those two things really tie together strongly. Um, you don't have any control over anything except your own, how you react to it. And don't just start making stuff up in your head, these crazy stories to fill in the blanks. Just know that you don't know, and you just have to wait for everything to unfold. Whew.
Yep. That was fantastic. I was not expecting that answer, Dan. So thanks for dropping that pearl of wisdom. That was beautiful. And you may have thought that it was not as pretty as I accepted it, but man, that was awesome.
Excellent,
So thanks
excellent.
a lot, brother. Well, you have a great rest of your day and continued success personally and professionally with Owner's Pride. As I said before, I'm excited to see, on the socials what you post, and I'm excited to talk with you again.
Excellent, man. Thank you so much, brother.
Oh, thank you. And folks, as Dan said, don't wait to say something loving or kind to someone that you know. Use that mortality motivation to motivate you to do something that you've been waiting to do or waiting to say, because we never know. And so use that time that you have now to make someone's day better, to make your own day better, and just do the best that you can for yourself and those around you. So with that, I thank you again for joining us for another episode of Scar Bearers. If you want to know what I have going on, you can look me up at chrisdtgordon.com and all the socials, except for Twitter. I try to avoid that situation altogether. But you can look me up at YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. And of course, you can always find me at Scar Bearers Podcast on all the podcast places where they cast those pods in a deep, deep ocean of sound. So with that, thanks a lot as always. And remember to pass some perfection and go for greatness.